What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here joined by the one, the only,
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode entitled For the Greater
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what Lone Goat 81 did. He asks, why did the surviving Primarchs seemingly abandon the Imperium? That's a good question. And the answer is each one of them did it independently, and it was because they were chasing something that has to do with destiny, in a way.
You sure it wasn't Destiny's Child? Prophecy?
There's a girl named Prophecy in Destiny's Child? Because that would be amazing. So, Leman Russ was chasing Dark Eldar, and he actually went into the Webway. Vulcan was chasing Dark Eldar, and he also went into the Webway. Or no. Not Vulcan. Jagatai Khan.
Yeah, Jagatai Khan. Get your people straight.
Vulcan went into the warp because he wanted to.
Yeah, he'll come back when his legion finds all of the relics.
But again, it has to do with like prophecies and like the future and the end times. So
speaking of the end times, that's where Leman Russ went.
Or when he's supposed to come back.
Yeah, at the end times.
Yeah, he calls it the wolf times.
Because you gotta add wolf in front of everything if you're playing Space Wolves.
Like the Bloods, they have to put a B instead of a C for everything. Because it's bonkers. I don't think that's what they say. Anyways, what were we saying?
The end times, the wolf times.
They left because they had visions, or there was prophecies that said the Emperor needs them in the end times, and the best way for them to be ready for that is to go out into the warp and get prepared. Think of any like DBZ style thing where like Goku has to die and then come back by running on that bridge. It's like that whole like I have to climb the mountain, and the journey is what trains me. It's not so much what's on the top, right? Because that's what Goku did to climb that tower.
I guess you could say so.
Something like that.
But that was like early DBZ, like
I think that was Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball, yeah. You're talking about Snake Way when he's going on the path.
That one's DBZ, but then the one he's trying to climb that mountain.
Korin's Tower.
That's just Dragon Ball, right?
I believe so.
But yeah, that's that kind of thing where they're like training. Think of the Rocky movies.
It's not about going at the top of those steps and like raising your hands. It's about working your body on those steps.
That's what the Primarchs are doing right now. They're working their minds, bodies, and souls. Wouldn't your mind and soul be the same thing?
No, Gersh.
Next question then.
Dragon Punch 903. If you could cross your genes with a 40K race, which one would you choose, and which trait would you want? Also, which trait from that same race would you hate getting? Genetic splicing, huh?
I would want to be Tau because I can have hooves. The negative part is I'd have a slit for a nose.
Split that slit. Split that slit.
What about you?
Probably... That's a hard one.
Actually, realistically thinking about it, I would much rather be sliced... What is it called?
Spliced?
With a Vespid. Because then I get wings, but I can't communicate on the same level as other people.
That's true.
Isn't like the Vespid, aren't they like far superior in like communication than like regular?
Because they speak through vibrations, isn't it? Through the through their wings.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. I would want to be spliced with. That's hard. I guess an Eldar, because potentially I could have psychic powers. But
no, you would. They all do.
Well, I guess, yeah. And what would be a negative of being spliced with an Eldar?
You're descendant from a slug that is also mammalian somehow.
I don't know why, but I just picture like a slug with boobs.
That, and I think like you would not be welcomed by the Eldar because the Eldar are like cocky and they'll see you as a half-breed.
Right, but then I'd still be cocky because I'm like, oh, look at you humans, I'm part Eldar.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm buzzing around flying.
What do you say?
Busy bee. Good question, though. That was a good one. Next one comes from Maria Moreno. Which one of you is starting a new army next year?
Whew. I ain't trying to say names, but this guy isn't.
You're not? I thought you were.
A new army?
Yeah.
I'm trying to revamp my Tau.
Ah,
I'm trying to get them all like streamlined, all uniform, all streamlined.
So here's the thing. 2019 has 12 months in it, like all the other years.
What?
and there's...
You sure about that?
How many starter sets are there? There's about 10.
A starter set a month?
A starter set a month. That's what my goal is.
Huh. They'll probably be finished 5 years from now.
Yeah.
They'll still be all in the boxes.
Yep.
But we'll see.
What should be my first starter set? Well, actually, the cool thing is that Skitarii is already done because I have Skitarii.
That doesn't count.
Orcs
it's a new
already
year.
done.
You gotta do them over.
Nah, I'm not gonna do them over. That's too much work. Orcs are already done, and Space Marines, I have my Imperial Fist. So I'm already knocked down three starters.
True. Word.
What should be my next one? Dark Eldar.
Give him a hard one. Because the Eldar is like a few Guardians and like a Wave Serpent.
Actually, that would be a good January because like it's quick. Just paint a couple Eldar stuff.
He's just gonna do a quick base paint, a wash, and a dry brush.
That's what it's about. But yeah.
Next question.
The 406. Where did the souls of the dead loyalist Primarchs go? Can they come back as saints?
You go back there to the warp.
To the warp. They are part of the Emperor's Army of the Light, along with Lupe Fiasco.
Is Sanguinius there then?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Drifter Wraith. Is it worse to be a Servitor or a Chaos Spawn? I gotta say Chaos Spawn, hands down. Because it's like you're working towards being chaotic. Like you're blessing your god with, like, say you're a Khorne worshiper. You're already worshiping Khorne. You're doing his followings. However, you do something that he doesn't like, and because of that, you're punished into this like mutant, grotesque form where you lose all ability to perceive. Like you're not yourself anymore. You're just like a flesh sack that your patron god doesn't even care about you anymore.
I would think it's the opposite. I think like the Servitor is that, and then one of these spawns, you are a piece of a god.
Well, like he's blessed you so much that you're just like a mutated thing.
Oh, a spawn, not like an actual demon. Okay,
no,
yeah,
you're
spawn.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Like you could be a Chaos Lord, and it's like, oh, I got a Chaos boon that turns me into a spawn.
Yeah, I get you.
Nobody wants to be a spawn. You want to be a demon prince, not a spawn. But Servitor is a pretty bad life too, because you're like, your life has been forfeited. What'd you get? What those things called? A lobotomy. Yeah.
What are those things called?
Because I don't know why.
A horn, a unicorn.
Because I was thinking of like Sucker Punch, where like they were trying to lobotomize
the nose.
Yeah.
That was a thing back in the day, like in the 70s.
If you were like in an asylum, and
you would get lobotomized. You became a servitor.
Or like electrotherapy. Yeah.
And it would be for like really insignificant things, like women with depression.
Yeah.
That's messed up. I'm depressed every day. I would have been lobotomized. I'm just joking. I'm not depressed. I am surrounded by warp. Vacant 66. Are the orcs... we've answered this before. You got another one? That one from Josh Pratt. Are there any worlds of the Imperium that have been untampered records, or that have untampered records from the Great Crusade till 40K? And if so, how would people of that world see the Imperium, and how would the rest of the Imperium view them? No. Because the Great Crusade would have introduced them into the Imperium, and then they would have been marked as like, okay, they are members of the Imperium now, and through time they would just like, they would suffer through the Reign of Fire, or Reign of Blood, I think it's called, the Imperial Creed. Everything would have been gone through. Now, there have been empires that were rediscovered during the Great Crusade and then lost because of a warp storm or whatever, and then the warp storm goes away, and then now they're rediscovered. But those people usually tend to because of the warp storm, their planet was pretty much destroyed or was significantly damaged because of all the demons and the pirates that come preying upon that world.
Word.
Word to the turnus. No, what was how's the thing go? Next question.
Nicholas Anazlone. If you know who Krampus is, then do you think he'll manifest into warp? I mean, it's similar to Santa.
Yeah, and he's not really an emotion.
Yeah. I mean, if they are in a warp, it'll be like a trinity of sorts. Like you have Santa, you'll have Krampus, and you'll have Crinkle Mouse.
Who's Crinkle Mouse?
We don't speak of Crinkle Mouse.
I thought you were going to say like Elf on a Shelf.
No, it's just right under Crinkle Mouse.
Gross.
That is a little gross.
I never saw him as a bottom. Next question comes from...
You'd be surprised.
T-Fool06. Does Gork and Mork have some sort of kingdom or territory within the warp, like the 4 Chaos Gods have? Do they also have greater and lesser demon minions besides mortal orcs? No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they don't work the same way. They're not the same as Chaos Gods. They kind of exist in the minds and hopes of orcs. But yeah. As a matter of fact, the what are Psyker orcs called?
Warpheads?
Warpheads, yeah, like Warpheads.
How do you not know this, Gert?
The orc player. Warpheads actually believe that the Maelstrom storm that is spreading throughout the galaxy is actually Gork's grin or Mork's grin, and all the demons that are spurting out are actually like things that Gork and Mork are giving to the orcs, when in reality, no, it's just the Chaos Gods.
That's a cool thought. Maybe they'll bestow their gaze of Mork onto me.
Maybe.
But now just kill me.
Next one.
This one's by Grind121. What's the 40K equivalent of Batman and Superman? I'm talking about morals, ideals, battle tactics, etc.
What?
So who's Batman and Superman but in 40K? I think there's one person that's both Batman and Superman in one. Sly Marble. He's the greatest detective, born on Krypton. That his one and only weakness is Martha. That's why he's always yelling, Martha! You just don't hear the Martha part because he whispers that. It's always the part.
I would say Gilliman. I would say Gilliman for Superman and
Conrad Kurz for Batman.
Why not?
He was born on Nostromo, where it's always dark. It's like Gotham City there all the time.
He was a vigilante who hated the people that he fought for.
That's true.
So yeah.
Does Batman hate the people that he fights for?
I don't know. Sometimes.
He hates me.
Yeah, who doesn't hate people though? If you have any interaction with any people, you start to realize like, oh shit, people suck.
Oh wait, I'm a people. I
suck. That is true. Last question. What you got?
This one is a question beyond all questions. Reaver1101 asks, what is the orc growth process? And it's one that's very similar to that of tadpoles.
Yes. So the spore gets released after the death of an orc. The spore lands somewhere, gestals, fertilizes, and then it comes out, and then all you have is like a small little tadpole-looking orc. Within days, you have a full-grown orc ready to bash your head in.
Are they slimy?
Yeah.
Ugh.
They smell bad, really, really bad too.
Is it the spores that smell bad, or the orcs like that come out of the spores?
Well, it's like athlete's foot. Athlete's foot makes your feet smell. Is it the fungus that makes it smell, or is it that you smell? Because at the end of the day, you still smell. So, or orcs are the same way. Both. That's it. That's my answer. Thank you for asking such thought-provoking questions, guys. 2019 is going to be amazing this year, as opposed to last year or the year before that.
You want to know that something that's also amazing? The world of Gumball. It's part of the title, Gersh.
Oh, okay. You could have said The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's true. That's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch Into the Spider-Verse. He hasn't seen it yet.
No, but I watched Aquaman. Let me tell you about Aquaman. No, I'm not. But at the end, it's the Imperium versus the orcs. You gotta watch it.
I plan to.
Aquaman is like the first 20 minutes of Aquaman is absolutely horrible. Like there was 3 occasions where.
And with that, guys, we've come to the end of yet another For the Greater WAAAGH video. As always, keep putting questions in front of your question because we get to those first.
This is a good one.
You sound alchemist.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.